ENS191 Engineering Economy, Module 8, Break-Even Analysis. So for this lesson, we'll be discussing the concept of break-even analysis. So it is important that you understand the concept of break-even analysis and also perform break-even analysis on different alternatives in economic studies. So in engineering economy, many situations are encountered where the cost of two or more alternatives may be affected by a common variable. So it is uh, encountered in many situations. So this is where break-even point is the value of the variable for which the cost for the alternatives will be equal. So that is the break-even point. Considering two or more alternatives, the break-even point between those alternatives is where the costs for the alternatives are equal. So, for example, you have alternative C1 and alternative C2. So that is the function of x and function of x. So C1 is a certain specified total cost applicable to alternative 1, and C2 is the certain specified total cost applicable to alternative 2, and x is the common independent variable affecting alternative 1 and 2. So that is why it is a function of x. So the break-even point is where C1 and C2 are equal. So this is f sub 1 x is equal to f sub 2 x. So x which may be solved for x, so that is the break-even point. So break-even chart so is a graphical representation of break-even analysis. So the break-even point is the quantity of production at which the income is equal to the total cost. It is the intersection of the income line and the total cost line of the break-even chart. So considering only a certain project or one alternative, so in creating a break-even analysis or break-even chart, it is the revenue line and the cost line. So for example, cost line is this line here. So ito yung cost ng certain single project. So of course, at zero, since this is a cost, may certain initial cost. So that is $2,400 in this case. So habang lumalaki yung production mo, production Q per month is lumalaki din yung total cost line mo, of course. So from zero, nag-start naman yung income or yung revenue line. So this point here, where the cost line and revenue line is what you call the break-even point. So this point equals the total cost and the revenue. So meaning beyond this point, here is profit na yung na-earn mo na money. So in this case, quantity is 60. So nag-meet na doon yung cost and revenue line. So it is important to know the break-even point kasi alam mo kung saan mag-start yung mag-start na mag-gain yung business or yung project. So for break-even chart where two alternatives are to be compared, the break-even point is the intersection of the total cost line for each alternative on the break-even chart. So for example, you have alternative 1, yung cost ng alternative 1. So this is for alternative 1 and for alternative 2. So the meeting point or intersection point between the alternatives is the break-even point if you are considering two alternatives. So yan yung common variable nila. So itong point na to. Okay, so example number 1. So the cost of producing small transistors radio set consists of 23 pesos for labor and 37 for materials. The fixed charges in operating the plant are 100,000 per month, so that is a fixed cost. So the variable cost is 1 peso per set, and the radio set can be sold for 75 pesos each. So determine how many sets must be produced per month to break even. So um, solving break-even analysis, there are two methods. So first is the basic method, which is the algebraic or calculation, and second is graphical solution. So by plotting a graph and pinpointing which point there is the break-even point. So first is the graphical solution. So first we will let X be the number of sets to be produced. So X yung number of radio sets na ipoproduce where that is the break-even point. So next is the total income or revenue. So we have here 75 pesos each if ibebenta yung radio set. So 75 pesos per set multiplied by the sets na i-determine natin. So that is the total income. So the total cost naman is equals to, first is the 100,000 per month plus variable the cost in producing a transistor radio set is 23, 37, and 1 pesos per one radio set. So we will add 23 plus 37 pesos plus 1 peso. Multiplied by the number of sets. So that is the total cost na magagasto mo in producing a certain number of radio set X. So to break even, as the discussion kanina, income must be equal to the cost. So total income equals to cost. So total income is 75x and total cost is 100,000 plus 61x. So the value of x is equals to 7,143 sets of radio. So para ma-reach yung break-even point, there is a need to produce 7,143. Then beyond that is doon na mag-start yung revenue ng business. So that is the break-even point. So by graphical solution, we will plot the cost and income versus the number of sets. So costs and income, so this is by since malaking amount natin, so we will do this multiples of 100,000. So 100,000, 200,000, 300, 400,000, 500,000, 600k, 700k, and 800,000. So sa sets naman is multiples of 1,000. So 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, until say 10,000. Okay. So we'll first plot the common cost or yung cost na 100,000 na charges, fixed charges in operating the plant. So that is 100,000. So that is the fixed cost. So for our total cost, So that is 100,000 plus, so gamitin natin yung formula kanina. So assuming na meron tayong 10,000, okay, so meron tayong 10,000 na sets, so the total cost would be 710,000. So maybe somewhere dito. So okay, so that is 7.1, so maybe somewhere here. Okay, so that is our variable cost or yung cost line natin. So for the revenue line, so our revenue, so or the income would be equal to, so that is 75 pesos per set multiplied by 10,000, so this will be 750,000 or 7.5 sa graph natin. So between 7 and 8. So say that is our revenue line. So okay, so the intersection between the income and revenue line, so this is for a single project. Okay, so the intersection is the break-even point, so maybe somewhere here. So somewhere, so this is the break-even point natin. So if you project that downward, so this will amount to, say, somewhere in 7,000. So the number of sets or the break-even point is at 7,000. So since hindi masyadong accurate yung graph natin, so this is around 7,100 na sets. So that is our break-even point. So this is by graphical solution. So if ano pa natin, yung mga columns natin is i-divide pa natin into smaller na detail, so siguro mas accurate. So baka tamaan natin yung 7,140 sets dun sa algebraic na solution. Okay, so that's it for this problem. Okay, so let's have an example where you consider two alternatives. Kasi yung kanina, isang option lang yun. So this time, two alternatives. So two machines are being considered for the production of a particular part for which there is a long-term demand. Machine A costs 50,000 pesos and is expected to last 3 years and have a 10,000 salvage value. So for the machine B, it costs 75,000 and is expected to last 6 years, that is twice the first machine, and have a zero salvage value. So machine A can produce a part in 18 seconds while machine B requires only 20 seconds per part. So mas mabilis yung machine B. So the out-of-pocket hourly cost of operation is 38 for A and 30 pesos for B. So monthly maintenance costs 200 pesos and for A and 220 for B. So if interest on invested capital is 25%, determine the number of parts per year at which the machine are equally economical. If the expected number of parts per year is greater than this break-even quantity, which machine would be favored? So given the costs for machine A and machine B, so we will solve the problem first by algebraic solution. So we will let n be the number of parts produced per year for equal cost or for break-even point. So we will solve this by annual cost method. So we will determine the annual cost for each method and compare to find the n. So first is the depreciation. So since merong involved na 25% na interest, so we will use sinking fund formula. So the depreciation for this is the initial cost or the original cost minus the salvage value, so over, so that is yung um, as we have what we have discussed sa previous natin sa depreciation method is yung annuity na formula or yung ordinary annuity. So FA 25% for 3 years. That is for the machine A. So this will be equals to 40,000 over 3.8125. Okay, so yun yung 1 plus I quantity to the n minus 1 over I. So that yung value niya is 3.8125. So the depreciation, annual depreciation for machine A is 10,492 pesos. So next is the maintenance. So on maintenance, meron tayong monthly maintenance cost of 200 pesos for machine A. So multiplied by 12 months because 1 year yung kinocompute natin. So this should be equals to 200 for 2,400. So for operation, the cost for the operation for machine A is 38 pesos per part na nagagawa. So for per part, it is done in 18 seconds. So since 30 is per hour, so we'll convert the 18 seconds in hours. So in 1 hour, meron tayong 3,600 seconds. So multiplied by, of course, yung number of parts natin for the 1 year. So yan yung variable natin. So this will be equals to 0.19 n. And then interest on capital, since we are given with 25% interest invested on capital, so this will be equals to 50,000 for the capital and 25 multiplied by 25%. So this is equals to 12,500. So the total annual cost, so i-add natin yung mga value, is equals to 25,392 plus 0.19 n. Okay, so yan yung total annual cost natin for machine A. So now for machine B, so i-repeat natin yung process. So for the depreciation for machine B, we have a capital or initial cost of 75,000 minus salvage value of 0. So this is for 6 years. So this is equals to 75,000 over 11.2588. So this is equals to 6,661 pesos. So for the maintenance, meron tayong 220 multiplied by 12 months. So this is 2,640. So for operation, meron tayong 30 pesos, 12 seconds per part. So convert natin into hour. So multiplied by n. So this is equals to 0.10 n. So interest on capital, of course, 75,000 multiplied by 25%. So this is equals to 18,750. So the total annual cost for machine B is 28,051 plus 0.10 n. So as what we have been discussing, to find the break-even, the variable na break-even yung two alternative is equate natin yung total cost nung dalawang alternative. So this will be 25,392 plus 0.19n is equals to 28,051 plus 0.10n. So only n yung unknown. So n is equals to 29,544 parts. Okay, so this is the break-even point. So at 29,544 parts, equal yung cost ng dalawang machine. Okay, so paano natin malalaman kung ano yung alternative na gagamitin natin? So say we will assign a n more than the break-even point. So say 30,000. So say 30,000 na n. So substituting 30,000 in this equation, this will be equals to 31,092 pesos. And dito naman sa kabila, sa machine B, making n into 30,000. So this will be equals to 31,051 pesos. So clearly, less cost is the machine B. So machine B will be more economical for the number of parts more than the break-even point, or 29,544. So we will choose the machine B for this problem. So that is how important na malaman kung ano yung break-even point nung between alternatives. So machine B is the economical choice, more economical for this problem. Okay, so for graphical solution, so cost versus number of parts. So yung cost natin is multiples of 10,000. So we'll start with 50,000, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350, and 400,000. And for the number of parts, multiples of 1,000. So meron tayong 5,000, 10,000, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, say hanggang 50,000. So for the machine A, meron tayong fixed cost na, so machine A, meron tayong fixed cost na 25,000, so yung kanina 25,392 pesos, and a variable cost of 0.19 n pesos. So say taking n as 50,000, so the variable cost would be equals to 0.19 times 50,000 is equals to 9,500. So the total cost for machine A will be equals to 25,392 plus 9,500 is 34,892. So first is a fixed cost of 25,092. So siguro around here sa 25. So ganyan. So the total cost is 34,892. So siguro more on mga 35,000 na siya. So that is for the machine A. Now for machine B, meron tayong fixed cost na 28,051 pesos and a variable cost of 0.10 n. So say 0.10 n is 50,000. So the variable cost will be equals to 5,000 pesos. And the total cost for machine B is equals to 33,051. So variable cost is 28,000. So siguro mga nandito. Ganyan. And then the total cost is equals to 33,051. So siguro mga nandito. Okay. So the break-even point nila is somewhere here. So somewhere dito yung break-even point niya between the two alternatives considering the costs. So this is the break-even point. So projecting it downward, so siguro around 29,000 to 30,000. So the break-even point is equals to siguro mga 29,500 na parts. So that is approximately. So this is for the graphical solution. So that is how you solve break-even point between two alternatives. So there could be also two or more, so three alternatives. So hahanapin mo lang yung break-even, yung kung saan nag-meet yung mga cost nila, yung break-even point nila. Okay, so that's it for the break-even analysis. So this ends our module 8. Thank you for listening and have a good day.